It's all right. Hey guys, welcome to tonight's focus class. We're so excited to have you here. If you want to reduce some stress in your marriage, or really in your life, but since this is all about marriage here at Wedlock Warriors, we're going to specifically talk about how to reduce stress in your marriage life. Then stick around. We're going to give you some really good advice, some really good points on how we were able to accomplish taking the stress level from like level 10 to, level 3. Would you say 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas 10 would be insane.
Right.
You into 3. Anyways, if you want to be able to do that, normal stress. If you want to be able to do that, and I know you all do, stick around. We're going to talk about that tonight. We are Jeff and Maggie Now. We are the founders of Wedlock Warriors, and we are welcoming you here tonight to our focus class. If you don't know what that is, it's your first time here. The focus class is the 5 steps we take you through, the 5 most important steps that you need to take right now to immediately start changing your marriage or save your marriage. And in fact, it's the 5 steps we used to save our marriage many years ago. So you can download that free report we wrote together, a free report. You can download it at our website, wedlockwarriors.com, and get more information, more detailed information about the 5 steps. It's 5 most important steps that without one of those steps, we would not be here today. So it's important if you are having trouble, excuse me, I'm just going to help you out, in your marriage. If you're having trouble in your marriage, not technology, because that can't help you out.
Mm.
To get those steps, read through that report. It's going to help you out. It's going to save your marriage. It's going to cut time and effort and all that stuff out of your life, and you're going to be able to figure it out much quicker than we did. And that's why we wrote the report. And it's absolutely free at our website. But tonight, we're covering the focus class, the focus class, acronym FOCUS, if I can get this straight. The acronym FOCUS, F-O-C-U-S, spells out the 5 steps. Tonight, we're talking about the C portion of that, and that's called cleaning the inner circle. So without further ado, I guess we'll just kind of kick off into that. And that was a really long opening monologue. So I need a sip of 7-Up. That's better. So, guys, before we start rambling kind of on about this subject, I just want to preface how important this step is. Now, out of the 5 steps, they're all very, very important. They all work harmoniously together. Without one of them, you're going to be missing something. And quite honestly, I don't know if you'd make it all the way to recovery if you leave any of these out. But this one is near and dear to my heart because I just feel like it's something we did kind of instinctually. Mm-hmm. We didn't have somebody say, hey, you need to go do this. We didn't read it anywhere, I don't think, did we?
Mm-mm. Oh no, we weren't reading yet when we did it.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. So this step in the process of recovery, and we're going to strictly talk about recovery, and then we'll kind of talk about how that blends into even if you're not really like struggling with divorce or with the possibility of divorce, or you're not coming out of a very hurt situation, how important this step is just in maintaining a healthy marriage regardless of where you're at in it. The C, cleaning the inner circle, is something, like I said, we just stumbled across. We happened to do it instinctually, and it really came down to the grace of God just giving us this information on our hearts at the time when we needed it most. Mm-hmm. And so what does cleaning the inner circle mean? Why don't I let Maggie kind of explain that, because I've been talking too long, and how important it was for us when we were in the rebuilding process, kind of like maybe where they're at right now. So mm-hmm. We're going to pretend that you're in the rebuilding process right now, and you're maybe in that zone where it's like you're not really sure mm-hmm. if it's going to work out, mm-hmm. and go ahead and take from there, I guess.
Okay, well, the inner circle is going to be your association. Primarily, that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. The people who have the most influence in your life. And so by saying cleaning the inner circle, that doesn't mean like we're going to clean those people. But what that means...
But if they need it...
That's not our job.
No.
But what that means, though, is that you're going to evaluate those people who have that relationship with you, those people who are the closest to you. And the reason that this is so important, really especially if you are trying to overcome any kind of a situation in your marriage where there was a betrayal, or there was a breach in trust, this is probably the most important step you can take right now to start to regain the trust and start to bring that back. Because by cleaning the inner circle, what we're talking about is looking at each person that has a heavy impact on your life. These are the people that have the key to your house. These are the people that come over all the time. If something happens, you call them first. These are often family members and people that do indeed love you. But what we're asking you to do, and what we've talked about in the past, is to look at each one of these relationships as okay, is this blessing my marriage, or is this hurting my marriage? Because it's doing one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either they're helping you stay together with your spouse, or they're encouraging you to get out. And if it's one of your people who are encouraging you to get out, it's time to put space there.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we've actually been talking through this week, in addition to those, the cleaning the inner circle of people, you need to start looking at other things that have influence in your life as well. And the things that we had come up with.
Yeah, hold on.
Go ahead.
No, that's really good. So what she was saying there, just so you kind of know where we're going, the cleaning inner circle, the big part is evaluating who you hang around with. Now, it's proven, scientific fact, that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. And so if we want to be excellent and we want to have an excellent marriage, if we look around at the people we hang around with most and they do not have those qualities, then we want to evaluate if they're really helping our marriage or not. And that's exactly well put and everything. But the reason that's so important for you right now, if you're struggling, is because those toxic relationships that normally, if you have a marriage that's been built on trust and strong and everything's going great and not real, you know, you're not having a rough time or whatever, normally those relationships that aren't maybe quote unquote healthy, maybe you have a gossipy friend that spends way too much time at your house. I'm just making things up. Look at the report. I got all kinds of examples. Or maybe you have somebody that you know, talks down to about their spouse in front of you, which kind of encourages you to talk. You know, these things happen, and those aren't really healthy relationships. Normally, wouldn't really affect your marriage. A little bit, you know, if they're not good, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But when you're going through a tough time, when you're stressed out, when things are crazy, and you don't know where you're going to be in your relationship with your spouse, those relationships become very, very toxic, especially the people that want to, I like to call them drama vampires. They like find drama, and they go, and they try to suck it out of you. And it's like, where have you been in the last, 5 years of my life, and all of a sudden you're here because I'm having a little drama, and they just want to feed off of it. Those relationships, and you might love these people. It might be tough. They might be family members. Those relationships are really, really going to make it hard for you to move forward in your marriage.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what we're saying. So that is very, very important, especially if you're struggling. Now, if you're not struggling, or if you are kind of past that point, what does cleaning in a circle entail in addition to that? So that's where we're going now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we talked about the people in our life, and that's something, even though we're in a great place, we still continue to do that. That doesn't mean we don't love our super gossipy friends. That doesn't mean that we don't ever.
Do we have any super gossipy?
I don't know that we do.
No, they're all gone.
But what I'm saying, though, is that we are very, very cautious with who we let in that super tight circle. But something else that we were talking through, it's not just people, it's also other things that have influence in our life.
Mm-hmm.
It's also how we spend our time and how we spend our resources. You know, when you think through your resources, that's your financial resources.
Yep.
Where are you spending that? And I know that for some of you, you may be where we were not too long ago, where past choices have decided where your finances are going, and you don't have a lot of say for a while.
Right.
And that can be a really tough situation, and that can cause a lot of strain on your marriage too. We're not going to talk finances tonight, so but we will possibly in the future.
Yeah, we'll probably have to touch on that a little bit in the future, because I tell you what, that's probably the number one thing we hear people argue.
Right.
Like, if we were to take a poll of the, I don't know how many people that follow us on Facebook, 1,200 people that follow us on Facebook. We take a poll. What do you guys argue about the most? In fact, if you're watching this and you're at this point, in the comments section, if you and your spouse were to argue, if you guys were going to have an argument, what most likely would it be about? And I guarantee I guarantee the number one would be money. And so we're definitely going to be touching on that subject. So stay tuned for more information on that. It's something that was one of the very last things we kind of really got a hold of.
So it can be a little intimidating.
It can be very intimidating. And anyways, probably enough said on there. But stay tuned. More to come on that. Yeah, it's definitely coming. So where were we? I forgot.
The other thing that you do have control of
I lost my chain of thought.
Time.
Yes, resources. Oh, you're talking about the resources.
Right. Right. So by cleaning your circle when it's concerning time, you have to think about the fact that you're given the same amount of time as everybody else in the world. And you've got to decide where that time is going. Where are you spending it? And if you're in a marriage that is struggling right now, your time needs to be spent in places that can strengthen that marriage. So, and I'm not picking on people that might be part of this activity.
Well, but here's the thing. And before you go on, I mean, here's the thing. I've had people come up to me that or whatever, ask for advice in a situation, and you give them the answer. So here it is. So Jeff, I'm having trouble in my marriage. What should I do? Well, and then I go, okay, well, what do you, what's going on? We're fighting this and that. Okay. Well, when do you guys see each other? Well, we're up and at 'em, crack of dawn, both work, and then, she's got this, and I've got that, and she's got this, and then I got this, and then we take the kids here, and then we go, and then I got darts on Friday. It's like, okay, well, why don't we give up darts on Friday with the guys and spend some quality time with your family? And it's like, whoa. Now, maybe I'm not having that much trouble with my wife, and so go on. That's kind of where you're going.
Right. So just look at your activities, and a lot of times for a struggling marriage, time is
it's critical. A big deal. Yeah, it's a huge deal.
You've got to spend some time together just to hash out some of the things that you're going through, to be able to understand where you are each coming from. And to be able to go forward.
If there's been a breach of trust, and let's just kind of revolve back around on that. If there's been a breach of trust, if there's been any infidelity or even a breach of financial trust, a breach of, let's just call it breach of trust, and you're not around, man.
Right. Then you can start. Then the imagination starts to run wild.
You need
that
to.
Can get dangerous.
Yeah, you need to hone it in. So, cleaning your circle in regards to time is really, really important. Yeah.
And that's something we haven't really touched on before.
Right.
And it's such a broad area. Maybe that's part of why we haven't touched on it too much. But I think really what you need to do is look at each thing that you're a part of. Now, if you're working, you probably have to keep working. I'm not telling you to quit your job. But what other activities are you involved in? What else is pulling you away? What could you possibly say, I'm going to let go of this for a little while right now because it's not blessing my marriage, even if it's neutral. It's not really hurting my marriage. It's not really doing anything to my marriage. But that extra hour on Tuesday, maybe I could have dinner at home with my family, and maybe that would be a good thing.
I'll give an example from our life. So I really like to hunt. I love to hunt and fish. And, for every period of 4 or 5 years, it's not like we were making millions of dollars. We were coming out of a really rough economic thing, hardship. Long story short, it was just really, really bad financially for me and my family. And so what did that mean? Did that mean that I stopped liking to hunt? No, I really wanted to go hunting. That means I just stopped hunting. And the reason I did that is because I had to keep this good, and I knew that if I spent this money hunting, that this would elevate it would make her very uncomfortable, would make me very comfortable, and it would potentially put us in a rough spot personally. I wasn't going to risk that because I'd already been down that road a long time ago, and I want to go back down it, and we understood where we were coming from and how we fixed it and how important it is to clean the inner circle. So with that example, you can go back to doing the activity after you fix your marriage, or if it's an activity that was potentially damaging your marriage in the first place, you're probably not going to go back to it. But Hopefully that makes sense.
Well, and something to think about too. The Bible says to be careful not to give the devil a foothold.
Right.
And anywhere that has given you stress or tension in your marriage is a potential foothold. And you have to be careful of that.
Right.
And if it is finances, or if it is this extra time you're spending away from your family, those footholds need to get sealed so that they can no longer be one.
Right.
I don't know how else to say that. But I think that's one thing that I'm really feeling that we should be saying to you guys tonight is just to really evaluate, okay, where is your time going? Where are your finances going? Even though we're not really digging in too deep, it just keeps popping in my head. Where are those resources going? In addition to who are the people that are in this inner circle of mine? And if you are going through this rebuilding of trust, it has to be resources. On all three.
Right. People, money, time.
Mm-hmm.
People, money, time. So, guys, hopefully this made sense tonight. I know that was kind of really. We were running
really
in.
hashing it out.
Okay, we got a lot going on, but I was running in. We were trying to get this done. We got notes and kids and this whole night. I apologize if it didn't make a lot of sense tonight, but we're going to get better at this, and we're going to continue to get better at it for you. That way we can get our message across and you can fix your marriage just like we fix our marriage. And we really appreciate it, guys. We love you. Now, listen, if you're out there right now and you're struggling with your marriage and you really do need maybe that extra hand of help, step 1, go to our website, download the free report. Step 2, click on personal game plan, get some time with us, and we will be happy to work that out with you, kind of a step-by-step process and maybe where you need to work at personally at this time. Anyways, it's all on the website, guys. We love you. We're Wedlock Warriors. Real life.
Real questions.
Real answers. Have a great night.